Welcome back! Let's learn a little bit about sample space. When I say sample space, I mean a list of all of the outcomes. In other words, a list of all of the possibilities. And I'll show you the different ways that we can draw or show the possibilities. In this question, Mr. Ranieri wasn't paying attention in Year 9 probability. Now he needs to guess the answers for these two questions in the test. Good luck to him, I say. Question 1 is a multiple choice question. The answers here don't matter for the purpose of this task because Mr. Ranieri has no idea which is correct, so he's just going to have to guess. And the true or false question, he's just going to have to guess true or false. We can show all of the possibilities of things he could guess as a list in set notation. So this is showing the sample space, showing the possibilities, and we'll show it as a list. One possibility is that Mr. Ranieri might pick A for this question and true for this question. Another possibility is that he might pick B for this question and true for this question. That's one combination that he could pick. Or C, true, or D, true. Or maybe the same but with false. A and then false, B and then false, C and then false, and then D and then false. Do you notice that I've listed all of the outcomes, the things that could happen? And there are 8 here. These curly brackets show that it is a set. A set is a collection of things or a list of things. Good, and I separate them with commas. This is one way to show the sample space, but we can also show a diagram, which sometimes is easier to see. We can show the sample space as a grid or an array, also called a two-dimensional grid. To do that, we put the two different experiments, I suppose, one down the bottom and one at the top. So the first experiment, we'll call it, is the multiple choice question. So the first question will go down here, and this second question, the true or false question, we'll put on this axis, vertically. This first question, though, that's the thing. What are the possible outcomes? What are the 4 possibilities? The outcomes are A, B, C, and D. There are 4 outcomes for this first experiment. For the second experiment, the second question, or the true or false question, how many outcomes are there? There are only 2 outcomes. Mr. Ranieri could pick true, or he could pick false. So do you notice that I list the outcomes, the things that could happen go here, and the things that could happen go here, the possibilities. Now, I can put a dot on A and true, and B and true, C and true, and so on. At all of these intersections, of A and true or false, B and true or false, I will put a dot. And then I can visually see that there are 8 outcomes, just like in this question. Finally, one other way that we could show the sample space is as a tree diagram. And I do the first experiment, which is the first question, and I list all of the outcomes for the first experiment, which is the first question here. The outcomes are A, B, C, and D. So I start here, and then I draw lines to each of those outcomes. And the outcomes are all listed vertically. Okay, so if Mr. Ranieri picks A for the first question, now we can look at the second question. We can put the name of the experiment up here, second question or true, false question. If Mr. Ranieri picks A for the first question, what could he pick for the second question? Well, he could pick true, or he could pick false. If Mr. Ranieri picks B for the first question, what are the outcomes for the second question? It's the same. He could pick true, or he could pick false, and so on. You can see it's a tree diagram if you sort of rotate your screen or whatever you're watching on and imagine these as the branches. This is a nice way when it's a bit more of a complicated probability question. Like when you're pulling socks out of a drawer. And if you only have one red sock, and you pull a red sock out of the drawer, the second sock can't be a red sock. Maybe that doesn't make sense now, but hopefully it will later when we look at that, pretty much that exact example of the socks. Alright, so these are the 3 different ways of drawing a sample space as a list in set notation, as a grid, also called an array, and as a tree diagram. I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you all next time. Bye everyone!